Oh, yes, I'm loving this show. Couple of interviews I got coming your way. I got funnyman Kenan Thompson from Saturday Night Live. I got Diego Pavia, the star quarterback for the week from Vanderbilt, who knocked off Alabama. Got to talk about that. But, of course, Diddy's in the news again. There's a court date. He ain't getting out, at least not right now. But you got a court date, and it's set for May. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in the world. Who else better than your boy to talk to you about it? The Stephen A. Smith Show in the house. Let's roll. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do over the digital airwaves of YouTube and, of course, iHeartRadio at very least 3 times a week. Thanks again, as always, to my subscribers, my followers. We've now eclipsed over 877,000 subscribers on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Obviously, we've eclipsed over 3 million downloads on iHeartRadio. Can't thank y'all enough for the support and love. Keep it coming, and I'm going to keep on coming, all right? If you want to continue to like and follow the show, just click the bell, and you too can be the latest member of the Stephen A. Smith Show family. And while you're doing that, if you're going to take the time to do that, at least pick up a copy of my New York Times bestselling memoir, Straight Shooter, a memoir of second chances and first takes, now in paperback. Just go to straightshooterbook.com to get yourself a copy of my book. Once again, that's straightshooterbook.com to get yourself a copy of my book. Looking forward to talking to Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt, that big time upset. That guy's got a really good story. Y'all need to watch that interview. Kenan Thompson from Saturday Night Live. He's got some interesting things to talk about. Make sure you look for him. I'll get into Sue Bird and talking about me and downgrading the WNBA. See, I'm sick of this. I'm really sick of this. I'm really sick of having to deal with stuff where I'm getting accused of doing stuff that I didn't do when it comes to the WNBA, who I fully and wholeheartedly support. And I love Sue Bird. I can't believe that she said what she said. I'll bring that up in just a minute. But before I do, let me get to the news in the world of pop culture and entertainment, even though there's nothing about this that's entertaining per se. We're getting started with the latest on Sean Diddy Combs, who's currently sitting in a federal jail awaiting trial on sex trafficking, conspiracy, and racketeering charges. At a hearing on Thursday, his trial date was tentatively set for May 5th, 2025. In addition, prosecutors said Combs may be facing additional criminal charges down the road. So damn, they still building more of a case. According to new legal documents obtained by TMZ, who else? Combs' attorneys are accusing the feds of misconduct, alleging they orchestrated the leak of the Cassie Ventura tape to CNN. The tape from 2016, if you remember, showed Diddy throwing Cassie to the floor, kicking her twice while she was trying to get on an elevator at a Los Angeles hotel. In the legal documents, Diddy's attorneys are specifically blaming the Department of Homeland Security, not the U.S. Attorney's Office. They also contend that the Department of Homeland Security is likely the source of the leak for a few reasons, namely the DHS agents, Department of Homeland Security, for those of you who don't know, were often quoted in news stories about the raids on Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. Okay, y'all. First things first. According to the prosecution, they didn't have a copy of the tape they didn't get a copy of the tape until they saw it on CNN. Prior to that, they had no knowledge of it. Could they be lying? Sure. Does it really make a difference? Now, one could easily argue no, because the tape did show him beating up Cassie Ventura. We do have a videotape of P. Diddy saying, I was really fucked up. Those are his words, not ours. He was on video admitting that he was messed up, that he did what he did, that it was undeniably inexplicable, inexcusable, and that he was wrong. We see it right there. That was the video. He already said, he admitted it. So we can't, nothing changes that. Once you're on video, you're on video. I will remind y'all that when Ray Rice got into his situation with his then fiance in Atlantic City back a decade ago, he never played another game in his NFL career. Because video matters. Video matters. And so to me, my initial reaction was, why bring up, if you are the defense, why even bring up the tape again, talking about how it was leaked by the government to try to buffer your case, try to buffer your argument? To me, initially, it made no sense. I just thought it was dumb. I'm looking at his attorneys like, what the hell are you thinking? You're just reminding everybody of how egregious his actions were. That's what I was thinking. But then I said, the court of public opinion is one thing, but they trying to get this brother off. Their next move is to say that if you can prove that the prosecution leaked the tape to the public, then you could get the tape removed as evidence to be presented by the prosecution, and the defense wins because you don't have to worry about 12 jurors seeing that damn tape while they're trying to judge whether or not to confiscate this man's freedom for the rest of his natural life. So it's two modes of thinking. On one hand, all right, they leaked the videos. That was very egregious. See, public, you understand what I'm saying? Trying to take the black man even further. Trying to take him down. It's what they trying to do, trying to make him look bad, trying to convict him in the court of public opinion. We've got to give P. Diddy some reprieve. We got to give him some support because there are still, ladies and gentlemen, even with the video of him and Cassie Ventura, his ex-girlfriend, in that hotel lobby by the elevator, even with that, y'all do know there's still millions of people who support P. Diddy, right? You do know there are people that are saying he's being railroaded, right? You do know that there are people that are leaning on conspiracy theories because of his case where he was suing Diageo, which owned Ciroc, and they supposed to owe him money. And then you got people speculating about private investigators being hired to take him down because they were pissed off that he sued them after all of this money they helped him make, blah, 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 blah. All of that stuff, while in all likelihood unprovable, is conceivable to the mind, especially to a mind of people who support somebody that's being prosecuted by our government who happens to be a black man. You are going to have people that look at that now. Keep in mind, there were people outside the courthouse supporting R. Kelly. You remember that? They were women. So if that's the reality, right, and you have people outside the courthouse, grown-ass women with daughters supporting him, is it not conceivable that there's going to be a bunch of people that's supporting Diddy? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, I understand they're talking about, and I know my researchers looking at me, and they talk about underage people with Diddy. I know there were sex workers. But I'm talking about the actual charges against them, sex trafficking, racketeering, etc. There's nothing about underage folks. There have been civil cases that people have hinted might be coming down the pike that could involve underage people or people who were underage at the time. But we haven't seen that yet in this particular case against them. So you got people out there that support them. Back to all of this today. Court date, May 5th, 2025. Twin daughters, Jesse James and Delilah Starr, held hands as they walked into the Lower Manhattan courthouse just before the 2 p.m. hearing. The Bad Boy Records founder entered the courtroom through a side door wearing tan jail clothes. He flashed a smile and waved to his son, King Combs, who was sitting in the second row of the courtroom gallery. It's good that his children are there, no doubt about it, giving him all the support that he needs, okay? And, of course, his mother, Janice Combs, showed up, walking into the federal courthouse as well. So his family's there in full support of him. I was just taken aback by them making noise about the video being leaked because I was like, how the hell is that going to help him? But in the end, when you really think about it, it does kind of help him in the court of public opinion because whenever a black man is being prosecuted and we think that the government has done something salacious or unethical in their pursuit of him, we gonna side with him, at least to a degree in terms of pointing out the kind of links they will go through to take him down. We're also hearing that they're coming with additional charges down the pike. This is just the start. It ain't the finish line. But by doing this, their belief is that that's going to help him in the court of public opinion. I don't know if they're wrong. They might be right about that. But they especially win if they get that tape removed and it's not allowed to be seen by the 12 jurors that's going to be assigned to decide whether or not he's going to jail for 20, 25 years, the 40 years, the rest of his life, or whether he's going to be made to be a free man. He still ain't been let out on bail. If I remember correctly, a judge was removed from the case and a different judge came about. Still ain't removed from jail. They still haven't granted him bail. But this revealing of the tape and the accusations that it was leaked by the government to assist the prosecution, well, they are the prosecution, the government. It does make sense. It might not be that bad of a strategy. And if you can get that tape removed, they don't have to see what he did to his ex-girl. It's interesting. I'm just saying. Coming up, he led the historic upset of the Crimson Tide last weekend, knocking off Alabama. I've got Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia joining us in just a moment. Plus, he's a funny man that's been making us laugh for decades, y'all. Decades. Was that you that did Kendrick Perkins? Come
on, dog. You know I got Big Perk. Shout out to Big Perk, man.
SNL funny man Kenan Thompson joins the show. We'll get the breakdown on all his impersonations and more ahead, right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show in a minute. Okay, everybody, you know what time it is. It's time for Stephen A's Weekly Sports Picks. In case you didn't already know, I've teamed up with Prize Picks to bring you my favorite picks on every big-time game or sporting event. You see, Prize Picks is a skill-based, real-money daily fantasy sports game where you select two or more players and predict if they'll have more or less on their projected stats for the game or contest. It's not only super exciting, but incredibly easy to play and takes only 60 seconds to make your picks. That's less time than it takes Aaron Judge to the big-time home run and circle the bases. Pick the stats for Josh Allen, Garrett Cole, Kevin Durant, and then sit back and watch. And get this, sign up with code SAS and Prize Picks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't need to win your lineup to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. All you have to do is play a $5 lineup on Prize Picks and you'll get $50 instantly. Now, let's look at my winning picks. We're switching it up with only two picks for this one because I want to focus on a Sunday showdown between the Washington Commanders and the Baltimore Ravens. Two of the most electric quarterbacks in the National Football League. Rookie sensation Jaden Daniels and two-time league MVP Lamar Jackson will face off for the first time. Some like to focus on their running, but I'm focused on how well they throw the damn football. So let's get right to it. Jaden Daniels, more or less than 228 and a half passing yards. Have you seen the way the Commanders have been playing? Have you seen him and McLaurin hooking up? Have you seen the offensive opportunities the defense has been giving them? Have you seen this brother run with the football? He makes plays. He extends plays. He makes things happen. I'm not holding that brother to 228 and a half yards, especially going up against Lamar Jackson. He's got that kind of moxie where he'll want to answer the call and show that Lamar Jackson ain't the only quarterback to be looking forward to watching in the DMV. I'm going to go with more on this one with Jaden Daniels. Next up, Lamar Jackson, the reigning league MVP, the two-time league MVP, more or less than 225 and a half passing yards. See, I understand why they do 225 and a half as opposed to that's even less than you're anticipated from Jaden Daniels. I understand why they're doing that with Lamar Jackson. You know why? Because he handing off the football to that stud, that damn Derrick Henry. That's what that's about. So they saying Derrick Henry going to run roughshod over everybody, so he won't need to throw the football much, but he will need to throw it some. against these Washington Commanders, and he will light it up. I think Lamar Jackson's going to throw for over 300 yards in this game. All right? I'm going with more. He sees the kid on a come-up, Jaden Daniels, making noise, handling his business, trying to be the man in the DMV. Lamar Jackson ain't having that. He's going to answer the challenge, answer the call. He's going to make sure he does his thing. Whether or not Jaden Daniels does his thing or not, I'm going to go with more than 225 and a half passing yards for Lamar Jackson on this one. More on Jaden Daniels. More on Lamar Jackson. It's more with Prize Picks. That's what we do here. It's what we do. Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show. Let me get right into it, all right, because I've been waiting to talk to this man. My next guest has a story that sounds like it came from a Hollywood movie. He's 5'11", a zero-star recruit beating the #1 team in the country last week, Alabama, 40-35. Please welcome the starting quarterback of the Vanderbilt Commodores, the one and only Diego Pavia. What's up, man? How you doing, my brother? How's everything going?
I appreciate you having me, Stephen A.
You know, I love feel-good stories. I really, really do. But I don't appreciate how you ruined my weekend. I didn't expect Alabama to be losing to a team it hadn't lost to in the last 23 contests, in the last 40 years. But you come on the scene and all of a sudden just ruined everything for Alabama. Major props to you. Got to give it to you. Talk to me about how much this victory meant to you and the program, what it's been like for you this last week.
It means a lot, for sure. I'm a JUCO kid, and then now finally we're getting rewarded for the hard work that we put in. Like, we ain't finished though. We want something way bigger than this, and this is just the start.
Talk to me about what the conversation was like for you guys going into this game against Alabama. Nobody gave y'all a chance or what have you, but you're known as, you got a lot of moxie, you got a lot of courage. You're a former wrestler, if I remember correctly. You don't back up from anybody. You love challenges. Everybody brags about this mystique that you bring to any place that you touch. So what were you doing with your teammates the week leading into the Alabama game?
Shoot, I'm gonna be straight up. I was sitting on my couch. I was watching. I think it was the Liberty game, and I'm next to Eli, our tight end. I pop up to see ESPN what they got to say. I see Stephen A. pop up talking about, hell nah, don't take Vandy. And I was like,
right,
he must not know. You know what I mean? And Eli's like,
I did.
Eli won't see you. He's like, I haven't seen you lose by that many points ever. And I was like, smart man would bet it.
Well, I'm not Mad Dog Russo. That man bets and loses money every week. I keeps my money, okay? But I didn't give y'all a snowballs. I didn't give y'all a snowballs chance in hell. I thought y'all were going to lose by about 30. I really, really did. So you damn sure made me out to be a liar. Props to you. Before I go any further, I wanted you to take a moment to tell the nation who you are. When they think about Diego Pavia, if you had to describe yourself to America, describe yourself to the football world.
I'm a winner. I'm electric. I'm going to bring everything I got every single game. My family's going to show out. We're going to play hard, and my family's going to party hard after. And that's how we run stuff around here.
And you say that, you know what, your family, I read up about your brothers now. I read up about your brothers, and obviously you got a sister that's going to be a star at New Mexico State, if I remember correctly. Am I right in saying that? She's going to be a star at New Mexico State. Am I right?
No, she just started 8th grade. She got her first Division I offer at UNM. She hasn't committed or anything, but, she's you think I'm good. That girl is dominant. Like, she's going to be the next big thing. She's going to be up there now.
What do you believe you would be as a football player if you didn't have those family members of yours in attendance raising holy hell and making all the noise in the world and psyching you up? What would you be if you didn't have your parents and your brothers and everybody in the stands and it was just you playing without those family members, dare I say, intimidating folks in a very, very beautiful way, by the way?
Yeah, no, if I didn't have my family members, like a lot of stuff, that's where my mentality comes from. They set the standard, and my brothers, used to beat me up when I was little, but I hated losing, and they knew that. We used to, put our pads on before the season and go smash each other on the grass, next to the house. And so that really started, and my mom knows I hate losing. She hates losing, and, if I go home a loser that night, like no one wants to talk to me, and that's just reality. And so I just got to keep the standard, keep going. They pushed me to be a better person overall, but I can't wait to get on this journey and continue this journey.
Hold up. Did you just say even mama don't speak to you when you lose? Is that what you just said? You just said that even mama doesn't speak to you when you lose?
Yeah. It's different. It's different.
It's different in the Pavia household. It's different like that. What about, I mean, listen, your brothers, they're going to be there no matter what and what have you. I remember reading the story where you talked about how they would kick your butt, but ultimately you got bigger than all of them, and then you started beating their butt. When did that start happening? When did you start beating up on your brothers?
It'd probably be like freshman year. We wrestled. All of us wrestled when we were little. I was a big recruit when I was very, very little, like 6th grade. And then once I turned 9th grade, that's when they really stopped beating up on me, and I was able to hold my own and, not manhandle them, but I'd always beat them.
What got you started with football?
My brother. So at 6 years, you can only start playing football when you're 7 in New Mexico. My mom lied on my birth certificate when I was 6 so I could play up. I played there for like 4 years. And then when everyone went off, to ahead to high school, I went back down to my own league. And, I love football, though. Like, I have a genuine love for it. I love the game. I just love what it brings, love the team, love the people I'm around. I get to meet people like you because of football.
I'm listening and reading your story, and I'm looking at one of your receivers, Eli Stowers, 25 receptions, 333 yards thus far this season, your leading receiver. When you were in JUCO, if I remember correctly, wasn't he the quarterback? Wasn't he ahead of you?
Nah, he transferred in from New Mexico State thinking that he was going to take my job. And then
gotcha.
He ended up becoming a tight end because I won over the job. And, Eli's a freak athlete. People are going to freak out how crazy that kid, how high he jumps, how fast he is. When he comes pro day, he's going to jump. If he's already not like a top 10 pick, he's going to jump up the board.
Now, you talked about him and in reading stories and doing research, and you talked about how y'all relationship is and what have you, and how y'all have gotten pretty close. Is he the one that's got you going to church? Is he the one that got on you for missing church one day? Is that him?
That is him. That kid's different. He's wired different. He keeps my mental. I keep him on the game. So it's like a perfect balance. We're roommates. So we just spend a lot of time together. And I don't got a car right now. So he's been taking me back and forth to practice.
So how does that work exactly? Because, going to church and having the good Lord in you, that can take away some of the edge that you might want to bring on the football field. Did you ever talk to Eli about that? Do you ever bring that to the equation and say to him, I gotta let that rebel out in me, or you just acclimated yourself accordingly?
Yeah. So I tell him, I'm like, hey, like, this music gets me in the mode to go out and do and feel like the man, you know what I mean? He's like, nah, man, you can't be listening to that. Like, listen to gospel music, listen to this. And he gives me other options, variations. That's something that I need to tweak and flip the switch on. But yeah, there's different ways around it that he's taught me. But Eli, keeps that standard of God, which is, that's what I'm here for. I'm for eternity. I want to live in heaven with him.
I got to transition back to the football field in this regard. Deion Sanders, the one and only Prime Time, shouted you out on social media after the game. Now, you were being recruited by Prime Time at Jackson State and HBCU before landing at New Mexico State. Talk about what that recruitment was like and how you ended up making your decision to go elsewhere, before ending up at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, he called me, and he was real. That's why I like, Coach Prime. He said, hey, I got a backup spot for you. My kid's the quarterback. Like, if you want to come, you could be the backup. And I was like, shoot, I feel like I'm better than anyone in the world. That's how I feel. But, for him keeping it real, I appreciate people like him in the world that won't lie to you. And that's why I feel like, Colorado, they turned over the page, and look at them. They're a very good team. They got everyone watching them. But yeah, Coach Prime is a prime example of keeping it real, like a Coach Kill. Them two is kind of on the same page. You know what I mean?
And you talked about Coach Lilly because, he came over with you. Damn near brought his entire staff, it seemed like, to come there with you. How comfortable has that made the transition for you? Talk to me about the character of those individuals and how helpful they've been to your career thus far, especially at Vanderbilt.
Coach Kill is like my pops for real. You know, when I was negotiating what I wanted coming to Vanderbilt, he was the one negotiating for me. And you know, whatever he says goes around this thing. But you know, Coach Kill, he puts me in a position to go win every Saturday, and then you know, on the sideline, he just keeps me calm, telling me just play my game, what I need to do. You know, just being the person that I am. And then you know, he brought the offensive coordinator, Coach Beck, here too, and they just let me play free. Really, they let me check in and out of plays and do, you know, like an NFL quarterback would.
You know, it's interesting. You just brought up negotiate your deal for you. I've waited so long for the day where you can hear college athletes talk about, because I am a proponent of college athletes getting taken care of, because we're getting robbed for decades and decades and decades, and that's no longer going to be the case. How has it been? How do you feel about the whole NIL, name, image, likeness, being able to negotiate deals, profit off of your exploits on the football field? Speak to what level of importance that is to you, that is to college athletes, and what do you believe that's ultimately done for the sport of college football?
I feel like it's a business now. You know what I mean? It's no more fun football. You either win and you're in, or you're losing and you're out. But I think the NIL should move more to an incentive base, because there's kids getting paid who aren't even playing. But like, you know, the kids who are dominant, you know, they deserve that money, who are bringing in money to the university. They should be getting paid high dollar. That's the reality of it. That's what I think, is it should move to more of an incentive base in your production.
Did you want to go and renegotiate whatever deal you got after you beat Alabama last week? Did you try that?
I wish it worked. I wish it worked that way. I wish it worked that way for sure. But yeah, my contract's in it's already written.
I got you. 0-60. That was your record versus top 5 teams before your win versus number 1 Alabama. What do you believe this victory has done for the program, and what it ultimately has done for you?
I think people thought that we could do it outside of us. We knew we could do it, and now it just shifts the mindset of the fans. They need to, you know, come out more, support. You know, our stadium's, you know, 75 to 80% filled with the other fans. But yeah, that video is dope. That video is dope. You know, the student section shows out though, and on third down this weekend, I can honestly say, like, it got pretty loud.
And listen, Nashville's a hell of a town. I mean, you win it, you could do some things. And by the way, you're in good shape, because I'll be damned if the Tennessee Titans gonna win for you. I tell you that much. Y'all might have the city. Y'all might have the city on lock. Y'all keep winning, because I ain't expecting much from them. But I gotta ask you this: you got a game coming up against Kentucky. Both of y'all are 3-2. You beat Alabama last week, but you turn around and lose this week. You're gonna have people out there talking about y'all are one-hit wonders or what have you. What's your mindset? What have you told your teammates about this upcoming game against Kentucky?
I told them this is the biggest game of our lives right now. Where we want to go, we cannot, you know, afford to come out flat. We cannot afford to not bring our best football. You know, we got to come out, swing first, hit first, and, you know, land punches, counter punches, and just keep going every single time. You know, next play, best play.
Some people joke, but not really joke. They talk about Vanderbilt being the Ivy League school of the South. That's what they say, right? And you being the star quarterback at Vanderbilt, the face of the program right now, there's no question about that. What would you say to people who were considering coming to Vanderbilt? I mean, if you had to recruit on behalf of the school, what would you say?
First off, I'll tell you what I told Coach Lee when I first got here. I had my degree in New Mexico State, and I told him, I ain't coming here to do school. I'm coming here to play football, and that's just real.
That's what you would say. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. By the way, Johnny Manziel surprised you during a live appearance on College Football Live, if I remember correctly, right? What was that like for you?
That man's elite. You guys know that. In college, he was the most unstoppable player, if not the greatest quarterback of all time in college. So for him to pop out, you know, show me some love, you know, that's a much respect to Johnny. And, you know, that's my guy. I watch his highlights before the game and then watch my highlights after.
I'm looking at you. Last question here. I'm looking at your schedule, man. You got a chance. You got a chance, Diego. I mean, if you show out against Kentucky, yeah, y'all got Ball State after that. Then Texas is number 1 now in the nation. I mean, my Lord, if y'all end up beating two number 1 ranked teams in the nation in the same season, could you imagine that? There's Auburn, there's South Carolina. You got LSU and Tennessee to close out the season. I mean, you show out in these games. Diego Pavia, I mean, you're a household name right now, but I can assure you it's going to elevate to another level. You handle your business against those schools. Have you thought about that at all?
I'm worried about this game, and this game's at night. And you know what they say, the stars come out at night. So let's see it on Saturday.
Yeah, stars come out at night. I like that answer. I appreciate you. Diego Pavia, man, congratulations on your success, man. Thank you for coming on the show. Continue to do great things. I'm rooting for you. And listen, I hear that you know what you be trying to disguise. Your brothers was teasing you about how you be trying to disguise your height. You really 5'10", but you be standing on your tippy toes. Don't worry about that. The tallest quarterback is the one who wins. Tell them that. Tell them that.
Amen. Amen. You feel me?
All the best to you, my man. I'll see you down the road. Congratulations again.
I appreciate you, Stephen A. Thank you for having me.
Always, man. Take care of yourself. Congratulations. The one and only Diego Pavia. Your brother got a chance. Look at the schedule, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, just fantasize about this for a second. We didn't expect Vanderbilt to beat no damn Alabama and Jalen Milroe and the boys. We didn't expect that, but he did it, 40-35. You come back and you beat Kentucky. You beat Texas, they number one. You got Ewers or Manning at the quarterback spot, and you win that game. Auburn, South Carolina is nothing to sneeze at. LSU, you go beat them. You close out against Tennessee, you beat them. Diego Pavia, I mean, everybody will be talking about this brother. If he pulls, or I mean, if they, dare I say, they win most, if not all, the rest of these games. That's just where I'm coming from. That's just where I'm coming from. Coming up, SNL funny man himself, Kenan Thompson, joins me next, right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Don't go away. Let me just take a second to make sure that everybody out there knows I'm in it to win it, and I demand nothing short of excellence. No question about that. And that's why right here at the Stephen A. Smith Show, we've decided to team up with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, with over 3 million members, to help turn all my sports knowledge into some big-time cash. You see, Prize Picks is a daily fantasy app where you just choose 2, 3, or even up to 6 players from your favorite sports teams and then pick more or less on their projected stats for the game. You like Josh Allen? Pick him. You like Bryce Harper? Pick him too. You like Travis Hunter? Then damn it, pick all 3. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your picks, and then you sit back and watch the winnings roll right in. And get this, sign up with code SAS and Prize Picks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't need to win your lineup to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. All you have to do is play a $5 lineup on Prize Picks, and you'll get $50 instantly. Prize Picks, pick more, pick less. It's really that easy. Welcome back to Stephen A. Smith Show right here over the digital airways of YouTube and, of course, iHeartRadio. Again, thanks to Diego Pavia. I'm rooting for that brother. Love his personality. It's beautiful, beautiful to see. I think it's going to help the program immensely. Anyway, let me move on to an interview I taped earlier this week. I love people who make me laugh. I love people who make all of us laugh. And I know very few people who have done it as successfully over the course of the last couple of decades than the man I'm about to show you right now. My interview with him earlier this week with Saturday Night Live's very own Kenan Thompson. Check it out. My guest is an Emmy Award-winning actor, comedian, producer, author, and the longest-running cast member of the iconic Saturday Night Live. My man, the one and only Kenan Thompson. Welcome to the Stephen A. Smith Show. What's up, big time? How are you, man?
I'm good, my brother. How are you doing, man?
Saturday Night Live is absolutely phenomenal. This is your 22nd season on SNL. Did you think you would still be there after all of these years?
No, I mean, I didn't think I would ever be there in the first place, you know? So to like get the job, number one, was a dream come true. To do the job semi-well and make it out of the first season was another milestone. And then all of a sudden, 21 years has gone by and I'm starting my 22nd season. It's insane, man. Like, as an actor, you know, you lucky to get one season out, let alone decades worth. So, yeah, I'm very blessed.
Educate me about what it's like to be in your industry at this day and age, because I ask comedians and actors about this all the time. The world is so sensitive now compared to what it used to be. I can't imagine that it's been more difficult to make people laugh than it is today, because you never know what everybody's sensibilities are. What is that like for you?
It's tough, you know. I know in my heart, you know what I'm saying, I'm just trying to do good for the world. So That's how I approach it.
Listen, I remember I once saw you, or it was on social media, and they showed a clip of you talking to Mike Tyson, and I
Yeah.
only bring that up because it typified during that interview what you just described yourself as being, your heart being in the right place. You know, you're trying to do good for the world, and that's how you were explaining. You looked at things a little bit differently, and you was telling him how you'd always look at him, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm thinking about the world that we live in right now. If you specifically, I'm talking about you, had to give the world advice on, in terms, especially your guys in your industry and girls in your industry, about what they need to do to be half as successful as you have been, what would that advice be?
Knowledge, my brother. Knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Because when you know about what you're talking about, you know, I think, where the infractions will be. You know what I'm saying? The more you know about other cultures and other struggles and stuff like that, the more accurate you can be with poking fun at it. You know what I mean? Because poking fun should only be a thing to tighten you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're only pointing out kind of, you know, just, it's not necessarily a shortcoming is a bad term for it, but it's you know, it's a hole in your defense. You know what I'm saying? So people kind of poking at you like that and like trying to get you maybe to tighten up or, you know, relax or whatever it is about whatever situation is kind of being, you know, talked about in a joking kind of manner. You know what I'm saying? Like, most jokes come from a soft point, basically. You know what I mean? So I think you just have to, like, be aware. Otherwise, you know, they're gonna teach you. You know, Twitter's gonna teach you. Like,
No doubt
they're
about
gonna
that.
like get after you. Yeah.
Yeah, you said Twitter. You ain't even get specific for our purposes, like Black Twitter. Lord have mercy, the stuff that they'll. I mean,
Forget about it. You know,
forget
like,
about
Black Twitter's understood to be the one to tell you.
You know, you got to be able to take it. You got to have thick skin, no doubt about it. You know, SNL. Getting back to SNL, the show kicked off its 50th season on September 28th with 5.3 million viewers, the most watched SNL ever. I'm thinking about its relevancy, all the great actors and actresses throughout the years. How do you believe it's maintained its relevancy for half a century? How would you answer that question?
It has a revolving door of talent happening there, you know, so it will always stay current. It'll always feel fresh. And the fact that it's live, you know, there's no chance for it to get stale. It's always something exciting to look forward to. It's unpredictable. In their calibers of host and musical guest talent is top notch. And then in every other department, you know what I mean, they try to make sure it's that kind of level of professionalism. So that being the corner foundation, and built on top of that is a family feeling. You know, there's generations of one family on our crew kind of thing, maybe a couple few. You know, it's very like unified effort, man. And yeah, keeping it fresh naturally because it's live and naturally because it's sketch comedy. You know what I mean? Like, sketch just goes in so many different directions.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of talented people in the world, and you know, a lot of people have had a chance to come through there and, you know, show the world what they can do. And I think that's how they keep it fresh. They keep finding young, fresh, new voices to kind of mirror what's going on in society.
You've done various impressions throughout the years: Reverend Al Sharpton, Charles Barkley, Steve Harvey, Deion Sanders, LeVar Bell. One of my favorites is when you did Michael Irvin. Okay, and let me tell you something. Was that you that did Kendrick Perkins? Was that you that did Kendrick Perkins?
Come on, dog. You know I got Big Perk. Shout out to Big Perk,
I
man.
needed you. You have no idea. I needed you for that, because that damn, listen, he had that mean mug on his face. I was like this. You're not scaring nobody, Big Perk. And then I turned it on Saturday Night Live with you imitating him. I said, he got you. And then he starts cracking up laughing. Big Perk loved you imitating him. Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite to imitate?
I mean, you know, favorites are tough, but people like him that are jolly, that definitely have a tone you can recognize. Like, as soon as I start doing it, like, I just love how he says your name. Stephen A. Wait a minute. Stephen A. Hold up now. Give me a minute.
Keep a
Stephen
cool
A.
booty. Don't forget he said that. Keep a cool booty. Keep a cool booty. That's what he tells me.
Keep a cool booty. The best. So him, Charles Barkley, you know, David Ortiz, Steve. I mean, I just try to, you know, bring the jolly out of the impression that I see in people. And those are the most fun to do.
Have you ever given an impression and went like this? I might be in trouble if this person run into me. I might be in a little bit of trouble. Has there been anybody
For
like
sure.
that? Who's that person?
It started with Star Jones, because I used to do a lot of ladies in the beginning.
Right.
And I remember I was making fun of a very, pivotal, sensitive moment. And I was talking about her wedding. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So she had typed a few messages, I think, into social media in that time. This is 2003, so I feel like it went straight to the news. There wasn't even no social media back then. But yeah, she didn't love it. And Steve didn't love it either in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But he grew to notice that it wasn't out of malice. So, yeah.
The only time I've ever been mad at an impression about me is if they ain't funny. If they funny, it don't bother me at all.
If it ain't funny, it's a waste of time.
How about that? Listen, before I let you get on out of here, you already know. That's the name of your podcast. I want you to tell me about that, what you've been doing with that, bro.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, me and my buddies started it, during COVID, probably like 99% of the other podcasts. And yeah, we just enjoyed talking about movies and, being young black men in America. And yeah, it's been a fun kind of, it's almost like therapy for me, because it's the one platform where I can, pretty much just be my total normal self kind of thing. You know what I mean? So it's been a lot of fun for that. Thanks for shouting that out.
No question. I'm waiting for an invite, damn it. I'm waiting for an invite. I mean, feel free. Yes, I'm going to come on there.
That's what I'm
going to come on there. Ain't no problem at all. Before I let you get, last question. Atlanta, Georgia, you're native, correct?
Yes, sir.
Does that mean you're an Atlanta Falcons fan?
You got to know it. You ain't see my story I posted the other day? Falcons Friday, baby. It was Falcons Friday.
Now, how'd you feel about my man Harry Douglas that works with me at ESPN doing a damn video skit from the bathroom of an airplane? That's what he did, Kenan. He went in and started making some bird noises in the bathroom of an airplane. Never mind the smell and the stench from strangers that's living up in there. He went up in there anyway. That's how excited he was about the damn Falcons, Kenan. I don't know what's wrong with him, but that's what he did. That's what he did.
He's swallowing up a whole lot of like other people's stench by
That's right.
shouting in the bathroom. You're absolutely right about that.
But
that's how excited Falcons fans is feeling right now, man. We having a real moment, and it feels good because our fandom is loyal, man. We loyal to the soil, so it's good to see
you
that.
feel that way about the Hawks too?
All of it, man. Hawks, Braves. I was a Thrashers fan
Right.
for a little quick minute.
Right.
All of it.
I got you. Listen, man, keep up the great work. Keep doing what you've been doing on SNL, your podcast, you already know. Yes, I will come on if invited, no doubt about it. I'm a fan of your work. Keep up the great work. Keep doing what you're doing, my man. We all proud of you, my man. Keep making it happen.
Thank you, sir. Invite coming soon. And I'm proud of you on a new revenue stream, man. This is nice. Got a little set in there. That's what's up.
Trying to make it happen.
You know
Appreciate you, baby.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, my man. You take it easy.
Man, thank you, brother.
Right.
Good to see you.
No doubt. The one and only Kenan Thompson, who you can catch every week on Saturday Night Live. I know I don't miss him. My man, Kenan Thompson, smart brother, got a lot to say, got a lot of respect for him. A lot of times when you talk to these comedians, everything ain't about making them laugh or them making you laugh any second. Sometimes you want to see other facets of their personalities. And you know what? That tells me something about their acting ability too. Like, for example, hasn't Eddie Murphy proven he's a hell of an actor? Hasn't Martin Lawrence proven he's a hell of an actor? When the great Richard Pryor was alive, didn't he prove he was a hell of an actor? You remember Harlem Nights with Eddie Murphy, Red Fox, and Richard Pryor all acting in the movie and how great that was? There's a lot of things. A lot of these comedians, they ain't just funny. They can act. That's what I love. I love seeing what they bring to the screen, okay? Martin Lawrence, I know people looking at him saying, he doesn't look that healthy or whatever. Man, Bad Boys 4 was great, and he was hysterical. He's still a great Martin Lawrence. Let's not forget that. And oh, by the way, Will Smith, let me give him some love, because Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he was supposed to be a comedian. He was a rapper that turned an actor, but he was funny on that show, and he damn sure is funny a lot in the Bad Boys movies too. Can't forget that. So thanks again to funny man Kenan Thompson for joining the show. Much appreciated. I got a transition. I wasn't going to bring this up, but I saw it and then I read the article. And to be quite honest with you, I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted with Sue Bird, okay? Sue Bird, Hall of Fame caliber, Sue Bird, WNBA, college basketball. Matter of fact, one of the best people that I've ever met, or one of the best women I've ever met in professional or collegiate sports. I love her. But I didn't appreciate this article that I read, okay, when it came to her talking about yours truly. Because you see, far be it, this is the headline, y'all. Sue Bird calls out ESPN host for, quote, hating on WNBA playoff ratings after Caitlin Clark's exit. You say, what? Why? Why, y'all? Really? This is where we have to go? Can we put her quotes up on the screen, please? Because I want everybody to know what she said. What she said about your boy, okay? This is the wonderful, the marvelous Sue Bird. I love her to death. Love her. Interviewed her a few times. I'm such a fan. But this is what she said. Viewership numbers with Caitlin Clark are astronomical. She is a big draw. She brings in all the things. And yes, the games where she's not playing have lower viewership. But in the WNBA playoffs, and we'll use the semifinals, where Caitlin obviously is not in it because her team lost, are still breaking records from previous WNBA years and are still cracking 1 million viewers. She continues because she brings up my name. So these numbers are still really high and they're still really meaningful. And yet some people continue to flip that. I've seen Stephen A. Smith talk about it. I've seen Shannon Sharp talk about it. And what I don't understand is they work for ESPN. So why are you hating on a business ESPN is in? I want to say the semifinals games are up like 130%, and that's without Caitlin, end quote. I'm going to dial it back and be as respectful as I can possibly be. Once again, Sue Bird is a champion, Hall of Fame caliber, and a beautiful person. I am a huge fan of her as a person and player. One of the great pleasures I've had was interviewing her in the past. I'm only addressing her points about me and what she said in relation to the whole Caitlin Clark story. Respectfully, Sue Bird, you are inaccurate. It is just that simple. First things first. We cover sports, right? Don't we cover sports? Looking at one of my producers, Sherry, do we cover sports? Do we cover sports? Aaron, do we cover sports? Griff, do we cover sports? I think we cover sports. So if somebody got arrested, I can't bring that up. When Brittany Griner was taken prisoner in Russia unfairly, we didn't touch that. When Ray Rice got in trouble, we didn't touch that. When Ray Caruth did what he did, that was a crime. He was convicted of killing the mother of his child, of his unborn child. Did we cover that? When ratings are through the roof, are we going to cover it? When DeMar Hamlin nearly died on the field, did we cover it? Go outside the world of sports. The pop and entertainment world, they ain't talking about P. Diddy. The Hollywood Reporter ain't talking about him. TMZ ain't talking about him. Entertainment Tonight ain't talking about him. CNN ain't talking about him. CNBC ain't talking about him. What are you talking about? The story is the story, Sue Bird. What was Stephen A. Smith and Shannon guilty of exactly? You know, everybody, Jon Stewart, who I love, by the way, calling Monica McNutt on his show. You know, she rolling out there like they just made a big time movie and she's a guest rolling up on late night television. Why? Because we got in an argument about the WNBA. And folks don't get this message. And there's a whole bunch of people that was producing. Let me put in my Sinead name. There's a whole bunch of people. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. There's a whole bunch of people out there that's been contributing to the WNBA. What was Shannon and I saying? We were saying, do y'all see these numbers? Thanks to Caitlin Clark, Indiana led the league in attendance both at home and on the road. The Indiana Fever, nobody cared about them, averaged 17,035 at home this season with Caitlin Clark and over 15,000 in arenas on the road. 4 teams, moved home games to bigger arenas when Indiana came to town to accommodate more fans. I'm not finished. Attendance for the entire league is up nearly 50% this year, according to data from across the timeline. And Indiana leads all teams with an average attendance of 17,035, up 319% from a year ago. All other teams still grew by double-digit percentages, but not like that. And then we said merchandise sales are also up 450% for the WNBA, according to Fanatics, and Clark was the top-selling player and is fifth amongst athletes across all sports. Fanatics also reported a 100% increase in sales for WNBA-specific merchandise. What's the problem, Sue Bird? I know that you gave her props and you acknowledged how phenomenal she was in terms of a draw. What Shannon Sharpe and I were guilty of saying was that not enough folks were appreciating it and riding the tide. A rising tide lifts all boats. People weren't doing it. Not you, not most of the league, but some. Was that not proven by the way Sheryl Swoopes acted? We showed it to you. Now, stories were exaggerated. Stories were embellished. People knocking her into the ground, trying to accuse Carrington of poking her in the eye intentionally and all of that stuff. We know some of it was excessive. We also know that some members of her fan base can be racially insensitive, dare I say. We know all of that. Guess why we know? Because we covered it. We're in the news business. What do you mean, ESPN? So because I work at my day job on ESPN, I'm supposed to ignore the facts? I'm supposed to ignore the astronomical impact she has had compared to others? How Team USA was stupid for not putting her on a team to make sure you help uplift the sport even more? Don't y'all want a greater profile? Don't y'all want more notoriety? Don't y'all want more hype? I understand that it's going on still without her now that she's out of the playoffs because the games have been great. But the fact of the matter is she swelled the interest in the sport. That made people stick around and want to watch the others. A rising tide lifts all boats, which is what we were saying, both Shannon Sharpe and myself, when we addressed that issue. Why would you say a quote like that? We work for ESPN, so I'm supposed to turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to the facts? That ain't what we do. And while I am quite sure, Sue Bird, that you can educate me on the game of basketball, even though I've been covering it for 30 years, because you are phenomenal. You are one beautiful human being. I love you to death. You know I do. You know I do. But I would say this to you respectfully, Sue Bird. You know basketball. I kind of know news. And I damn sure know ESPN. It doesn't matter who we have a league rights deal with, who we have a contract with, what games we air. We cover sports. The in and the outs, the good, the bad, the ugly. That's what we do. You've been around long enough to know that. That's how it goes. And to imply that we should just ignore the impact that Caitlin Clark had and still continues to have on this team, this league, this sport. Nah, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, Sue Bird. You are one of the many who have contributed to the upliftment of the sport in a phenomenal, incomparable way. You should have our gratitude, our appreciation. And anytime I think about the WNBA, I think about you. I think about Diana Taurasi. I think about a host of other Candace Parkers, Lisa Leslie, Sheryl Swoopes, Cynthia Cooper. The list goes on and on and on. I get all of that. But you know something? Magic Johnson did great, great things for the NBA. Larry Bird did great, great things for the NBA. But when that brother Michael Jordan came along, they stood down. Not on the basketball court competing against him, but nobody complained about the shine he received. One reason was because they knew he deserved it. You know what the other reason was? It built the profile of the NBA and made the ratings blow up and took it off a tape delay and put it on primetime television and ultimately assisted in it becoming an international globalized brand. That's what happened. That's what happened. And if the ladies, meaning all of you collectively, grasp that concept fully, devoid of resentment, you too shall reap the benefits of somebody like Caitlin Clark coming along and anybody with a similar impact who follows. Let us all get paid. That's the game. It's a game I like to play. You should too. And by the way, listen, I don't run from conversations. Sue Bird, if you got a point and you want to come on the show, you are welcome on the Stephen A. Smith Show anytime you like. You know that. And you know I love you. You know I do. I just didn't agree with that take that you gave. That's all. But I am happy to talk to you about that subject anytime you like. You are more than welcome to come right here on this show to discuss it. Let's go to the tweets before we get on out of here for the day, please. Let me see what we got here. At S. Strickland, MMA, as in Sean Strickland, the MMA fighter, like him. He said, he sends out some arbitrary tweet my team wanted me to see. He said, when men say I'm not happy, you're a man. You're not supposed to be happy. Being happy is for women and children. You're meant to endure hardship. Instead of saying, I'm not happy, say, what can I do to make the people I care about happy? That's being a man. Sean Strickland, my brother, I'm not going to throw complete shade on that tweet. In principle, what you're saying is that being a man is prioritizing the happiness of your loved ones around you. I respect that, bro. I truly do. But I still would modify your statement, and I'd ask you to consider the same. If you're not happy, how could you possibly make the loved ones around you happy? Because, see, doing for them is one thing and one source of happiness. But remember, if they're your loved ones, that means they have love for you too. Which means seeing you unhappy won't do it for them. So how does that work? So I would say to you, modify that thinking. It's beautiful that you prioritize the happiness of your family and loved ones around you. But remember your man, Stephen A. Smith, said this, my brother. In some instances, not all, not most, but in some instances, not at the price of you. There is no y'all without you. Remember that. Next tweet, let me get it. At Not Brennan Hogan writes, Stephen A. Smith, if you could dispense a different liquid out of each finger on one hand, what would your 5 liquids be? Good Lord. Good Lord, man. Good Lord. All right, 5 liquids. I'd want gas, so I don't have to buy any for my car. I want water, so I don't have to buy any. I'd want something like a Gatorade or something like that for energy. I'd love some milk because I like my cereal to cheat from time to time, but I also like milk in my tea, milk in my hot chocolate, all that other stuff. So that's 4. So I said gasoline, water, energy drink, that kind of stuff, milk, and I'm not going to say tea because I included that with the milk. I'm going to say protein drink. How about that? But you know what? No, let me take that back. Damn it, let me get a little alcohol in me. Some Hennessy and Coke from time to time. Hennessy and Coke, that'll do it. Or Cavassier and Coke or Remy and Coke. At least one alcoholic drink. I could do that. Let's do that. Next tweet. What's up? What we got? At Tranquilize, Enzo writes, Stephen A. Smith, SAS, my brother. Last night at around 11 p.m., I was walking through Times Square alone with 2 AirPods in. A brother snuck up behind me and tickled me, then ran away. What would you do in that situation? Not a damn thing. People crazy out here in these streets. If all he did was tickle you and kept it moving, I would have been ready to punch him in the face, no doubt. But in the same breath, I ain't going to chase after him because if he's sick enough and crazy enough to do some shit like that, what else might he do if I approached him? So be happy that he didn't do more than that. And next time, don't have your damn AirPods in while you walk in the streets, because when you walk in the streets, you need to hear everything, because you need to have your head on a swivel and pay attention, especially with the craziness that's going on in the streets of New York. What the hell are you doing walking around where you're compromising your own hearing and alertness? That is not smart. So the tickling dude, we'll call him the tickler, okay? He's really not the problem at this moment. The problem is you. Keep the damn AirPods out of your ear until you get in a car and you're in a safe place, or you're in private. Not in public, bro. Not in public. Last tweet, what we got? Stephen A. Smith, this is at Teddy Fresh Philo. Stephen A. Smith, 3-point on the line for $500 million. Who do you have taking the shot? I don't know any of these characters really by name. I mean, I've seen some of them. I just don't remember the names, but I know that's SpongeBob. Who's the bottom left again? Jimmy Neutron. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll with Jimmy Neutron. I have no freaking idea why I'm picking him. I'm just guessing, but we going to go with that. I got to get on out of here, ladies and gentlemen. I got work to do. That's it for this edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show. I hope you all have a lovely weekend. Thanks again to Diego Pavia. All right. Thanks again to Kenan Thompson. I'm sorry, Sue Bird, I had to address that matter, but it was necessary. I'm damn sure sorry I got to address P. Diddy and the latest with him, but that story ain't going anywhere. You got to do what you got to do in this business in terms of the items that you're talking about. Appreciate your tweets as well. Enjoy your weekend. Hope you have a fabulous one and a safe and happy one. Peace and love, everybody. I'll be back Monday, even on my birthday. I'm coming to you. Until then, peace and love. Take care. God bless.